First off, yes, there's pink in my hair, as you can tell. And yes, it is permanent for a few months. But anyway, I just wanted to go ahead and start off by saying sorry that I haven't been posting videos. I know I told you guys I was going to do it weekly and then hopefully by the time we got settled, do daily, but way too much shit has been going on and I just haven't had the time nor the energy to even post any kind of videos. But since so much has happened and it's been over a month since I've updated you guys, I'm just going to jump right into everything. First things first, while we were still in the hotel, my car had to be towed to a dealership. Found out we needed a new motor, and that cost over $4,000. That was for parts and labor, and it took about a week for them to get it to us, a little over a week. And then they were disputing with us about actually giving us a rental. So I had to call my dad up, and I was like, Dad, they're trying to say they can't give us a rental. And he's like, let me get the number, and I'll call them for you, and I'll call you back in like 10 minutes. 5 minutes later, the dealership had called my husband and was like, Enterprise has your rental. We're paying for it, so don't worry about it. Um, then with baby, like I said, she was flown out and she stayed with a friend of mine. And then my husband drove down from Maryland with her to Florida. And even while we were in the hotel with her, she was not the same. She was not playful. She kind of did her own thing. She seemed depressed. And I know it probably was a lot for her to take on, traveling overseas by herself and then meeting new people and staying with them for a little while. And then the long drive down to Florida and then seeing me for the first time in so long, she probably hated me at that point. But, yeah, she just wasn't the same. She was not playful and she was actually starting to show aggression towards me. And by that I mean like anytime I tried to play with her, she would actually growl at me, and she's never growled at me. So I knew something was up, but I figured maybe after we got into the house, maybe everything would settle down and she would kind of get back to her usual self. But that didn't happen. So we moved into our house July 3rd, and by that time we still hadn't had my car yet, and it was still at the dealership. Um, But we bought a couple air mattresses. We didn't plan on renting any furniture, trying to buy anything while we were here because we knew we would have all of our stuff. But the same day we moved in, Don got his puppy, and Baby didn't like him. And I kind of knew that she was going to not like him anyway because she's been a single animal in the household since she was 9 months old. So I knew it was going to be a big adjustment for her. But after a few weeks, it just got more and more to the point to where even if he walked by her and she was just laying down, she'd growl at him and try to snap at him. And she was even showing signs of aggression to Joey. She would growl at him when he would try to play with her. And mind you, when we were in Germany, like I said, we got her when she was like 9 months old. She grew up with Joey. So they would actually chase each other around the house. They would roughhouse and play. She never once nipped at him. She never growled at him. She would always do that playful bark with him kind of thing. But she just didn't like no one. And then July 13th, my husband was on this side of the living room and the puppy was on the other side against the wall. And he was just laying there or walking towards the kitchen. And as I'm coming in from our balcony, which is right there, the door right there, um, she lunged at him and like pinned him down and was attacking his face. And it took my husband and me to pull her off of him. And once we broke him up, my husband grabbed Puppy and I grabbed Baby, and as I'm dragging her to the bathroom, she was growling at me and showing her teeth. And so I'm like, okay, there's really something wrong here. A couple hours later, my husband went to go check on the puppy because I noticed there were some cuts, and I just figured it was just regular lacerations on the face and nothing too serious. So I cleaned him up and we put him in the bathroom so that he can kind of sit down and not be in shock for a little bit. And about an hour or so later, my husband went back and he's like, babe, something's wrong with him, like really wrong with him. And I went back there and like the whole left side of his face just swelled up so bad. And I looked at my husband and I was like, maybe while he was yelping, maybe when she was biting and he yelped, she got inside of his mouth and bit the inside of his mouth. And I was like, we're going to have to take him to the emergency vet. There's no escaping it. He's going to need antibiotics and probably some ibuprofen or something for the swelling. And so me and my husband's sister drove up to the emergency vet because she was staying with us at the time. And yeah, she had bit and cut tissue on the inside of his mouth. They were talking about having to do an exploratory surgery, but they were like, let's give it a couple days to see if the swelling will go down and the antibiotics can kick in and the anti-inflammatory can kick in, and they even had him on painkillers. This poor puppy was so drugged up for the first like 3 days, it wasn't even funny. But because of all of Baby's attitudes towards myself and Joey and attacking the puppy, we went ahead and took her up to um, this place that my friend requested to me, and told me that they try to actually rehabilitate animals and get them adopted out into other homes, but by the state of Florida, because she was showing signs of aggression towards me and my son, and the fact that she had already attacked a puppy for no reason. It wasn't like he had a bone, it wasn't like he was trying to eat or anything. They said that we had one or two options. Either A, take her home, and if she did attack anybody or another animal, we could be fine, or B, have her put down. And it was rough, but I just knew at the end of the day I was going to pick my son and his safety over anything, so we decided to go ahead and put her down. They were so unbelievably rude, though. I'm sorry, you guys, I'm probably going to cry for this part of it, but they wouldn't even let me back there with her, and I begged and pleaded with them for so long because I was like, look, I've had her since she was 9 months old. Her name's Baby because she is my baby. I've taken care of her. I've bathed her. I've fed her and walked her and everything for this dog. And they were like, ma'am, we're sorry. We can't let anyone back. And then they asked me if I wanted her body back. And I was like, cremated? They're like, no, do you want her body back? And I was like, look, we're military. We live in an apartment. We don't even have a yard. Where am I going to put her body? Like, that is just so mean. And I was like, please, just let me be back there with her. I was like, no, none of them know her. She don't know none of them. They don't really love her like I do, and I would really love to be there for her and sit with her. And they wouldn't allow it. And as they were looking for a microchip, they went ahead and took her back, and they went ahead and handed me and my husband our receipt. And I was like, well, where's she at? Can I say goodbye at least? And they're like, oh, we already took her back, so no, she's already back there. She can't come up front. That's when I broke down. I was like, I didn't even get to say goodbye to my dog, and I couldn't even be back there with her. So as we're leaving, they handed me this card, and it wasn't signed. It just said, we from the staff here, we send our condolences on the loss of your companion. And my husband was asking me as we're walking out the door, he's like, what do you want to do with this? And I was like, I want to burn it. That is mean. That is so rude, and that's not even right for an animal to die by themselves like that. But later on that night, like, my husband's mom drove up with her husband to pick up my sister-in-law, and we decided to go down to Tampa and stay the night and leave and then come back on Sunday. And that way we can just get away and play some cards, have some drinks, kind of be around family because the whole drive home I was just crying so bad. I was so upset with how they did everything. God, it so kills me. But we went down there and we stayed up late. We played cards, and the following day, me and my mother-in-law, we were gonna take Joey to the park, and my husband, he was out playing basketball with the guys. And around noon on Sunday, Joey was actually attacked and bit in the face, and we didn't expect this to happen at all. So I'm in panic mode, and that's horrible to say because anytime my son gets hurt or he's sick, like, I go into panic mode. Like, I have a few seconds where I'm just like so shocked I don't even know what to do. And so by the time I got into the hallway, because my mother-in-law, her husband made it first because their bedroom's like back here and the living room's up here, so they like met in the middle in the hallway and got to him first. And by the time I got into the hallway, all I saw was blood all over the floor, and Joey was screaming so bad. And by the time I got to see him, his whole lip was cut, top and bottom. And I hurried up and got dressed. I tried calling Don, and I guess he didn't hear his phone, so we went ahead and rushed Joey to Tampa General. As soon as we got in there, they immediately got us a room, and they were getting information from me and my mom, like what happened. And I told them, we're military, we're covered under TRICARE, just please take care of my son. They're like, well, he's gonna need stitches, and they're like, because of where the stitches are at, uh, we're gonna go ahead and have a plastic surgeon sew him up. It's like, okay. He had a cut under his right eye, which didn't need stitches. It was just a really bad deep cut. And then here was cut, here, and then here. So this, the top and the bottom lip, and this needed stitches. There was altogether 10. There was 5 up top, 2 here, and then 3 down here. It took about 30 minutes. They had to put him under just so that they can align his lip correctly. But you wouldn't even believe that the dog that had attacked Joey would have, you wouldn't have suspected it at all, because like I said, the night before we were all having fun and stuff, and Joey was actually feeding the dog off his own fork and petting the dog and playing with him, the dog that bit him the very next day. It was just also weird and unexpected. But for those who don't know just yet, no, the dog wasn't put to sleep. He's, still alive. They had him on quarantine to make sure he didn't have rabies, because from what we were told, he wasn't up to date on shots, and they just wanted to put him on quarantine. But because he was an in-home dog, they didn't have to take him out of the home to quarantine him, so they were able to do that at the house. Just no one outside of who lived there was able to be in the household, and he couldn't be taken anywhere for anything like his shots or anything like that. But Joey's doing good. I mean, it was horrible taking the stitches out. I think it was worse taking the stitches out than it was putting them in, because he was awake for it. But he had him in for 7 days. He was on antibiotics and Tylenol and ibuprofen, alternating them and stuff like that. But even that night, he was eating just fine. Like, the doctor told me to keep him on baby food and stuff because of where his stitches were at, and the fact that there was also another cut on the inside of his lip on the bottom that they didn't want to sew up, because when the dog bites, the saliva is pulled because the skin folds onto the tooth, and they didn't want any bacteria festering and then becoming an infection on the inside of his mouth. So, like, just make sure he eats kind of like baby food for a while and then rinse out his mouth and stuff like that. But he wouldn't do that. Like, the very next day, he was eating steak. And he's not afraid of dogs either. He still plays with dogs. He plays with our puppies, because we ended up getting another puppy to go with Spike, and he loves them to death. And I'm so glad that he's not afraid of animals. But other than that, then we had our stuff shipped, and the movers that brought it here they did a good job. They got here late because they didn't know how to find us, but they did as fast as they could, getting everything into the house and unloading everything. But I'm just really, really not happy right now, because we're missing boxes, and a box that was packed with my son's infant stuff, like his shoes and his clothes and his first suit that my mother-in-law got for him, was all packed with a gas can. So that's ruined. I know I can air it out and stuff, but it just the point of it, it's like, that's all sentimental stuff. I can't just go rebuy it and shrink my son back down and put him in it and think it's, sentimental again, because it's not. But we've already put our claim in, and hopefully we will hear, I can't even talk, I'm crying so much. We will hear back soon on what they're going to do, because one of our TVs, they had actually dropped, and like I said, clothes is missing, some kitchenware stuff is missing. Other than that, everything's been doing semi-okay. Like I said, July was just a bad month. We had to fork over $4,000 into my car. I had to put my dog to sleep. Joey was attacked. And then these last few weeks have been really crazy, because my husband got me a puppy, and she's a Husky and Australian Shepherd mix, and she's not wanting to potty train at all. It's just been horrible. Oh my goodness, so horrible. But yeah, hopefully next week I'll be able to post another video. I found out that a few of my friends won't be able to make it down in September to see me like we were planning on it, but I understand. It's fine, you guys. I love you guys anyway, and we'll see each other soon. But I'm gonna go ahead and go. Sorry, I kind of rambled on and babbled a little bit, but just bringing up baby and talking about Joey's stitches and stuff, it just kills me, and he's also gonna have scars from it anyway, and just seeing it every day, it hurts, breaks my heart seeing him like that. But anyways, I'm going to go ahead and go, and I will try to update you guys next week. If I don't, please understand. It's not like I'm trying not to talk to you guys or anything like that. But anyways, I'll talk to you guys later. Bye.